No time for taking the sights. That could be our vanguard. Something's wrong. The ship's weapons are powering up. Get ready.
Vanguard to civilian ship. Come in.
If you stop shooting at us, we'd be more than happy to respond.
I can't believe. Might find a couple of them, but they might be down. Really could use an assist.
We blow that ship out of the stars, he's dead and our artifact's gone. We're going to have to board. Target the engines. Once they stall out, we'll have our chance. Take them down there first, ground jump capability. Enemy's grav drive out of commission. That's it. Start the docking routine. Come on. Let's go rescue that Vanguard. And we're locked in.
It's absolutely freezing here. Exposure without our sins. Damn, I was just getting warmed up.
Am I glad to meet whoever you two are? Looks like we're all in one piece. Any day you walk away from, right? Now I know that kind of talk. You two Marines?
Constellation, actually.
What? Seriously? Man, I've heard stories, but I had no idea you all were this dangerous.
We've heard stories too, about a strange object you found on patrol.
So, you know what that thing is. I tried to hawk it in Sidonia, and the guy thought I was peddling phony titanium.
It doesn't play nice with scanners. It'd be worthless to someone trying to flip rare minerals quickly.
So you're saying I shouldn't be using it as a hood ornament? Hey, I'll trade some weird space rock for a rescue anytime. Hope you figure out whatever that thing is.
Good work. Let's get back to the lodge.
Thanks again for the rescue. Don't know what I would have done if you hadn't jumped in.
Let me know when you're ready to launch.
Hello again.
Do you need something?
Undocking complete, Captain. Switching over to
Be
standard
advised, you are
engines.
entering United Colony space. Please maintain course and prepare to be scanned. Scan complete. You are cleared to land at New Atlantis.
Did you know I used to have an office near the top of mast? How far the mighty have fallen, eh?
You're back. Did you...
We have it. Go ahead. Do the honors.
It fits. Energy spiked a bit, but it's restabilized.
Is there anything new showing up?
No, it's the same as before. There's a massive output as the artifact is added, then it harmonizes. Like it's waiting for the others.
That's speculation, but I think you're right. We need more. Here. You've earned this. Welcome to Constellation. As a full member this time. Well, if you ever find a relic bottle from Earth, we'll all be happy to share it with you. By the way, how would you like to keep traveling together? I'm not sitting behind my desk for this. These artifacts are a new chapter for Constellation, and I'm going to be out there for it. And I want you out there as well. You got results. I need someone like you watching my back. Oh, we'll be working with everyone here at the Lodge sooner or later. Constellation is all in on this. Sometimes we'll partner up, sometimes we'll go solo. It's not a formal arrangement. We just came back with good news. We've got momentum. Why not keep going? All right. We've got a few more leads we should talk about. First, there's an expedition that Samco has been putting together. It's in Freestar Collective Space, and he knows it inside and out. There's also the Eye, our star station in orbit. About time for you to meet Vladimir. He's been hard at work tracking down more anomalies. And last but not least, Noel. Have we heard anything from Barrett yet?
A courier from Argos Extractors came by to let us know they're packing up the operation on Vectera. But that's it, no other word.
That's not good. We should get over there and check on Barrett in person. Oh, that's right. He wasn't here when you first showed up. He should be back by now. I'll let him handle the introductions. If I steal his thunder, I'll never hear the end of it. We maintain a star station in orbit above us. It's where we do all our deep space scanning. Vladimir runs the station. Brilliant astronomer. Years of practical experience. Want to see what I'm carrying? It's all important, but if you want a direction, I'd grab Barrett first. He's not just an old friend. He's been all over the settled systems. You can thank Barrett for that, if he's still around to thank when this is all said and done. Honestly, he took this seriously before any of us. It was at his urging that we started doing deep space scans. I will admit, it was something of a shock to see Barrett taking anything seriously. Until later.
you need my help? No complaints here, boss. I worked at DRIP in the UC Science Division. They're the department responsible for dreaming up new weapons tech for the military. Officially, I was a prototype tester, but my title should have been guinea pig. I was in charge of making sure everything the engineers came up with was safe. When a new weapon was developed, they'd have me take it to an uninhabited planet to put it through its paces. That way, if it blew up, I was the only guy that got hurt. Plenty. Field work's always dangerous, but when you're dealing with experimental tech, close calls are basically a given. But that's half the fun of the job, if you ask me. Cannon fodder's a bit of an exaggeration. I signed up for the position. No one forced it on me. I thought of serving the UC as a privilege. Yeah, my boss wasn't thrilled about how things ended. Neither were my parents. They were proud of the fact that all 3 of their kids worked for the UC. Just, wasn't the place for me anymore. A guy can only shoot off so many experimental weapons into space before he starts wanting more out of life. And I don't want to get into it, but there was a problem with my last assignment. The situation got out of hand and blew up in my face. Leaving wasn't my first choice, but it was my only option. And that's all I'm going to say about it. My parents are military vets, both retired now. My dad was top brass during the Colony War, and my mom was a sniper for the UC Navy. As for my siblings, all 3 of us ended up at MAST. My older sister Georgia works for the Office of Interstellar Affairs in the Administrative Division. Our brother Taylor's the family academic. He's a xenobiologist in the Scientific Division. His job makes my old gig at DRIP look like a cakewalk. She's an operations director. It's a nice way of saying career bureaucrat. She's responsible for making sure ambassadors visiting New Atlantis get the royal treatment. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm glad she does it. It'll pay to have a diplomat in the family if things go south with the Freestar Collective again. His bosses have him in the field cataloging every species of flying predator that lives in UC space. I guess MAST wants to make some kind of wildlife guide for travelers? I don't know how his team divided up the work, but it sounds to me like Taylor drew the short straw. They've both been retired from active duty for years. My dad served as a general until the armistice was signed, but he switched to teaching recruits after the war. Mom's a bit of a different story. She'd probably still be a part of the military if she hadn't been medically discharged for an injury sustained in the field. She had a close call with a laser weapon that left her blind in one eye. It was an instant death stroke for her sniping career. Hey, your insults need some work, boss. You've got nothing on the guys I went through basic training with before I switched departments to work for DRIP. They made an art form out of giving me hell once they found out I was a general's son. My skin's as thick as an ashta's. My parents are military. As for my siblings, all 3 of us ended up at MAST. Our brother Taylor's the It might. My dad always says you can't go a week at MAST without hearing the Bankowski name. Here's hoping the place hasn't burst into flames without its most charming weapons tester to keep an eye on things. All right.
Did you need something? I was just thinking about you. Sure. What is it? I was raised in Hope Town on Polvo. It's a corporate town run by Ron Hope, the CEO of Hope Tech Manufacturing. He likes to sell it as a utopia, place where workers are provided everything they need for a happy life. But that's a lie. The conditions are awful for the average person in Hopetown. Almost everyone there lives hand to mouth. I grew up on the edge of poverty, like most working-class people in Hopetown. My parents' wages from HopeTech barely kept food on the table. For a long time, I couldn't imagine my life any other way. Ron Hope does a good job making sure his workers feel like they're being cared for. It wasn't until I got old enough to start working in the factories myself that I started to understand how bad things really were. HopeTech is a starship manufacturer. They make cargo freighters and other industrial vehicles. Most of them are clunky eyesores, barely suited for grav jumping. But people keep buying them, so HopeTech keeps making them. It's Ron Hope's fault. He controls everything that happens in Hopetown. Our entire economy is dependent on him. There's nothing stopping him from increasing wages and improving safety in his factories, but he won't do it. Keeping your workforce poor and plying them with cheap liquor at company stores is a good way to keep them around. I think more people would if they had the chance, but HopeTech makes it almost impossible. They barely make enough to keep the lights on, let alone start a new life outside of Hopetown. That's why I joined the Freestar Rangers. I knew they'd fly me to Aquila for training, and I wanted to do something more meaningful with my life than building starships. I thought being a ranger would be a perfect fit, but it didn't turn out like I was expecting. Boarding the ship to leave Hopetown might be the best thing that happened to me while I was a deputy. In the stories I heard growing up, the Rangers were always described as the ultimate champions of justice in the galaxy. But if you've spent any time in the Freestar Collective, it's obvious that they haven't even made a dent in the problems there. Just look at Neon. Poverty and crime are all over the city, but the Rangers barely bothered to patrol it. Learning that made me reconsider my opinion of them. Why? Because I want the best for the people around me? It isn't my problem that most of the settled systems doesn't seem to share my way of thinking. Hopetown is far from the only place with problems in the Freestar Collective. Leaving Polvo opened my eyes to that. It showed me that Ron Hope's attitude isn't unique. The Freestar Collective is full of people willing to take advantage of others to get what they want. And there are barely any systems in place to stop them. No one to tell them no or punish them for it. That's the downside of the Freestar way of doing things, huh? No social safety nets. It's hard for anyone born into poverty to improve their situation, especially with people like Ron Hope and Benjamin Bayou in power. He's the administrator of Neon. He basically owns the city. I like to say that not a credit gets spent on Volai Alpha that doesn't end up in Bayou's pocket. I feel sorry for anyone who has to grow up there. Povo was bad, but at least we didn't have violent gangs. I'd call myself the exception, not the rule. Most people can't just hop on a starship and become a Freestar deputy. The longer I spent with the Rangers, the more I started to feel like they serve the Freestar Collective's government more than its citizens. I couldn't make peace with the fact that an organization that claimed to stand for freedom and individuality let places like Hopetown exist. Eventually, the hypocrisy was too much. I made the decision to... There's a reason the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective have never quite seen eye to eye. They do things very differently. The UC provides services like healthcare and job placement for its citizens. Those kind of things don't exist in the Freestar Collective. My opinions about the government's responsibility to its citizens seem to fit better with the UC's way of doing things. It was the right decision, but it wasn't an easy one. My family is still in Hopetown. That was almost enough to keep me from leaving the Freestar Collective. But I thought if I moved to the UC and found out things were better there, they might finally be willing to consider it. I thought I did, at first. New Atlantis is clean and safe, and most of the people there are happy. And it seemed like the government was doing a lot to keep it that way. But my perspective changed after I took an entry-level job with UC Security. They stationed me in the well. I couldn't believe the conditions down there. It made all the UC talk of a perfect society seem like propaganda. The more I started looking around, the more cracks I saw in the whole thing. Their treatment of the Sol system to begin with. It's one of humanity's greatest treasures, and they've let it fall into total disarray. The UC's insistence on maintaining a large and well-equipped military is also a bit off-putting. If they're committed to intergalactic... Those are the kinds of questions you almost never hear UC citizens ask. I think that comes down to good marketing on Mast's part. The UC makes a show of promising job placement and housing options to all its citizens. But if those programs exist in the well, there's no sign of them. Most people down there live in the same conditions I saw in Hopetown. There's crime and unemployment, and a lack of good medical care. It's nothing like the rest of New Atlantis. But you'd never know that from the outside, of course. I think the UC government doesn't like people challenging its decisions, or remembering its history in too much detail. Mast did some horrific things during the Colony War. They'd rather people forget about them, especially citizens who might start demanding a change. The best way to maintain the status quo is to keep people from examining things closely. Consistent propaganda is a good tool for that. It all seems just a little bit too shiny when you really start to look closely, huh? I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks so. Once the wool fell from my eyes, living in New Atlantis lost its luster. That's when I decided life in the major factions wasn't for me. The problems run too deep. There's corruption and division everywhere, and not enough people are willing to see it. I don't think that will change anytime soon. It seems to me like the only option is starting over, huh? Founding a colony without the influence of massive governments and corporations. Maybe people would be kinder to each other in a place like that. I've always tried to see the best in people. I really believe that the average person wants what's best for everyone around them. I think without the influence of big governments and greedy corporations, people will treat each other better. We won't know until someone tries it, huh? I don't know why that shouldn't be me. I can't just sit around and watch the problems in the settled systems get worse. It's not who I am. But I'm not rushing into anything. If I'm really going to do this, I need to get a better sense of how people live all over the settled systems. That means visiting the major cities and looking at both the good things and the bad. That way, I can decide what things I want to keep and what I am going to leave behind. Good thing I'm working for a captain that likes to travel, huh? We'll hit all the major cities in no time. I'd be happy to catch up later.
What's up? Yeah, boss? Picking up a few things? Bye now.
This all feels... Certainly. I consider myself the curator of your item museum. Back to work, then.
Hi there, Captain. Here, let me take that. Headed somewhere new, huh?
managed to limp back here at all. Bullet for leeches, get it fixed up, and let her know we'll have it ready as soon as we can.
Yes, sir.
Ah, you are new probationary then? Crew Chief Herat. Pleasure to be working with you.
It's my job to make sure all you rocket jockeys are ready for anything that comes at you up there. Now, Manifest says we're fitting you out with one comms repair suite.
In addition to the standard issue welcome kit all probationary pilots get for their first mission. Med packs, some small arms, couple spare ship parts, all the essentials in case of any surprises up there.
My people will have everything on your ship before you lift off. Won't even know they were there. So, paying a visit to the people of scenic Tau Ceti 2. Nice easy one for your first job. Just keep your head on swivel and you'll come home safe. Any questions before you head out? Then I won't keep you.
Make us look good out there, recruit.
Like their own. For decorating their ships with heat bleach nets would be nice.
It appears things have gone downhill since the last time you were here. Argos has clearly washed its hands of this operation.
Well, you're back. Oh no, don't start. I've had enough Barrett for one lifetime. I don't need the sequel showing up on my doorstep. More pirates showed up when you were gone. We weren't as lucky this time. Calvert, Troy, some of the new Dusties. They didn't make it. Who knows with pirates? Revenge? Peeking at the scraps? Maybe they're from a different crew and we just got hit twice by sheer bad luck. It's not like we were eager to stick around. But we had injured people on recovery, and pickup coming at some point. Just not soon enough. Anyway, I was pinned down behind some crates with Barrett. Bullets and laser fire everywhere. No smile on that damn carefree face of his. Like he knew this was it. I started steeling myself to go out fighting. Then that idiot puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Stay here, Lynn. I got you."
Not quite. Barrett is more dangerous than you might think.
Next thing I know, 2 of the pirates are dead, and he's got the 3rd one in a headlock. Drags him out into the open at gunpoint and demands to talk, or else I'm going to demonstrate Newton's 3rd law on this guy's temporal lobe. And that's when they brought out Hela. I didn't overhear everything, but after the 10 longest seconds of my life, Barrett put his hands up, and both of them ended up getting taken aboard the pirate ship. And that's the last I saw of either of them. They could have grav-jumped anywhere. I tried pinging a transmission to the ship in the comms building before they left, but the pirates must have fried it. You want to try it? Go ahead. But the odds of them being alive, even if you could find them... I've lost a lot of people on this run, Dusty. I just want to pack up.
hoping. There was a good reason that was locked.
Can't believe we got into this mess. Would you be quiet? Trying to make out the grav jump calculations before we're out of range. Out of range of what? Out of range of the sensor array on Vectera. Would you keep up? Once we're outside the star system, the bandwidth goes from instant speed to effectively never. What good is sending a transmission down there? You gonna tell Lynn how royally screwed we both are? She doesn't even have a ship. You underestimate how many of my admirers there are in the galaxy, Heller. One of them is bound to show up, looking to reunite with this handsome face. We're doomed. Capital D, doomed. Got it, okay. Whoever finds this, I'm attaching the interstellar coordinates to the metadata on the transmission. Rescue us. Repeat, rescue us.
When you have a few moments, there's something I'd like to discuss. Thanks for taking the time to talk. I wanted to ask you about the artifact you found on Vectera. When you pulled it from the rock, held it in your hands for the first time, how did you feel? No, I don't think you understand. I know about the visions, the light, and the music. How did you feel inside? What were your thoughts? Oh my goodness. That must have been terrifying. When it comes to the artifacts, it never ceases to amaze me how the science, well, simply fails. If there is, the artifacts are doing a heck of a job hiding it. The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. Quite the mystery. Is there? After spending years gathering data about the artifacts, you'd think I'd have all the answers. Not much, I'm afraid. All I have to show for my efforts are eyewitness accounts, scores of inconclusive metallurgical test results, and wild theories. Does that really surprise you? A universal mystery left unsolved for God knows how long? Oh, I've been dreaming about solving this puzzle from the beginning. I knew I picked the right person for the job. Look, I wanted to thank you for taking the time to talk, and for keeping an open mind. And I also wanted to say, well, I'm pleased we're on this journey together. It's the best decision I've made in quite a long time.
So, you actually get that computer working again? What? Let me see that. Funny. Even knowing he's alive, I still never want to see him again. Hella, on the other hand. Okay. Let me send you the location data embedded in the transmission. Find them, okay? Well, don't start buying me stuffed animals for my birthday or anything. But yes, all right. I don't like seeing my people hurt. Even Barrett and Hella. Just get after them, okay? And hey, if you ever need a little extra help, I've been thinking about a career change lately. Maybe it's time to put Argos behind me. Seems like you've been keeping busy, Dusty. If, my contract's up with Argos. Works for me. Right. I'll get to work. Let's catch up later.
jump calculations before we're out of range. Out of range of what? Out of range of the sensor array on Vectera. Would you keep up? Once we're outside the star system, the bandwidth goes from instant speed to effectively never. What good is sending a transmission down there? You gonna tell Lynn how royally screwed we both are? She doesn't even have a ship. You underestimate how many of my admirers there are in the galaxy, Heller. One of them is bound to show up, looking to reunite with this handsome face. We're doomed. Capital D, doomed. Got it, okay. Whoever finds this, I'm attaching the interstellar coordinates to the metadata on the transmission. Rescue us. Repeat. Rescue us.
Supervisor's log supplemental. Still day 2 of Argos Extractor's Vectera dig. Freestar Collective Claim ID Beta 7548 Alpha. As far as anyone knows, this is just another ore run. Vectera's got enough mid-level veins to keep everyone working and not asking questions. I've told Heller everything he needs to know, which is pretty much everything I know. And this is another one of Barrett's special orders. He made good with the payment for Kazal, even if it was a bust. This time, I'm not so sure. This place is giving me the willies. I think we're going to find something. I just have no idea what it could be. Supervisor's log. It's day 2 of Argus Extractor's Vectera dig. Freestar Collective Claim ID Beta 7548 Alpha. Site setup was fairly painless. New record for us. 18 hours, including the elevator. The prefabs are starting to show their age, though. Time to rebudget for new equipment. Again. The crew is good. Spirits are high enough. Hella is a pain in my ass, as always. And completely indispensable. What's the saying? The problem is, I love him, and he knows it. Calvert remains the weak link. You just can't train away stupid. But she's got a daughter on Mars or someplace and needs the cred, so she gets one more chance. If she does wash out in the end, we've still got the Dusty. And there's definitely some promise there.
Nicely done.
Isn't this the same mine where you pulled your first artifact from the ground? I'm almost sorry I wasn't here to watch that happen.
Hello.